Saravi Industries is progressing rapidly towards the forefront of the bag manufacturing sector across global markets. With 2 units in Maddur, Karnataka, Saravi Industries employ the latest technologies and high-quality materials to offer a wide range of multi-utility storage bags, travel bags and accessories. The devotion to quality and safety surpasses excellence, which creates a lasting impression among the customers.
With specialized machines and high-skilled manpower, we produce the best quality products for the market.
We source the high-quality material from local and global vendors. We bring the design intent into sourcing, including colors, texture, material, physical and thermal properties.
Never compromise on quality is our mantra.
From component sourcing, cutting, accessories assembly, stitching, quality check, stuffing and loading, we ensure incomparable advantage over business operations and processes. Resonating with the clientele worldwide, we commit products that excel quality, complementing prompt delivery. Steering to an eco-friendly horizon with a mission to achieve a long-term sustainable growth and build profitable relationships, Saravi Industries aspire towards the benefit of all the stakeholders based on values, trust and exceptional service.
I understand Saravi was incorporated in 2017 or 18. And did it start as a tech company as Saravi Technologies? Yeah. So tell us the journey and how did you come up with the name Saravi? I think we'd be interested to know about that.
So basically Saravi is a combination of 2 names. That's my mother's name and my father's name. My mom's name is Sarvamangala and my father's name is Ravindra. So both put together, I came up with a name called Saravi, and then I also got to know even my name, Vinay, also gets over there. That's all put together, it's Saravi. So basically, I'm a software engineer. So after working in a company for a year, I wanted to start a business of my own. So then we came up with an idea and we wanted to do a software product. So we started off with Saravi Technologies. But you know, the first step is always very hard to keep with very little knowledge and little funding what we had. So it was a failure. And that way, then I got an opportunity to start an industry. So that's the journey, how we started.
Okay. So when you were doing the Saravi Technologies, you did face a lot of challenges in trying to raise capital and...
No, I meant Saravi Technologies was a big success for me initially with Saravi Technologies. Even still, we are doing a very pretty nominal business in Saravi Technologies. We have few very good world-class customers. We do staffing and we have few ERP products for few industries. So that's about Saravi Technology. It's a small one where one of my friend, who's another director, takes care of it. So
okay. So being trained as an engineer, how did you venture into something so exciting like designing high-tech bags, laptops, backpacks? What made you get into that part of the manufacturing business?
I don't know. My grandfather was a tailor. Probably the blend of these things, I think. I was somehow fascinated about the textile industry because of the volume in which it provides employment to the people and especially the women. And then, basically my father had a consultancy business. So during 2016 and 17, there was a Chinese company named Korun. Wanted to start a factory in India, and that's when they got in touch with me and I helped them to set up a factory in one of our industrial areas. So the technology of the Chinese, the way they started manufacturing bags really fascinated me to get into this field and understand much better.
Although you're relatively new in this business, you have really, like you said, succeeded in getting Koran, Dell, Wildcraft, Gear in such a short period of time. That is just amazing. how did this happen? And who was it? Was Koren your first customer, or who was your first customer?
Most of the backpacks which we use, the high-end backpacks of Nike or Adidas or whatever, most of the backpacks are produced in China in a very lower cost, and from there the things are getting imported. When it comes to the bag manufacturing industry, we have very few industries in India which manufacture bags. The opportunity is really huge because we have a huge population and most of them are young. So everybody uses backpacks. Even we have a lot of two-wheelers. So as a result, the backpacks are very much necessary while commuting here and there in India. So we have a huge opportunity, and it's not very hard to tackle these brands if we have a good infrastructure and a technology where we can cater them in the right proper method. So I feel it's not a greatness, or it's not a greater thing from my part to get those customers, because we have the opportunity, and there are no big industries. There are very few where you can count them in the fingers.
So you set up this manufacturing company where, in Madhur?
Yes.
Mandya district, which is how many miles away from Bangalore?
It's around 65 kilometers from Bangalore.
Okay. And so setting up such a world-class manufacturing unit, you had to procure, I'm sure, equipment from all over the world as well as in India. So what are the types of, can you give us some details as to the types of machinery that you got and the types of equipment that you've been using, so that you can ensure that you have the quality to match international standards?
The bag manufacturing industry is not so technologically high-end like the apparel manufacturing industry. So as a result, here we use all the machineries which are basic. I mean to say the sewing machines, which are a bit, which can stitch tougher or harder material than the apparel. Usually in apparel, we use lightweight machines. Here we use higher stitching machines. Other than that, we have a few computerized machines where we feed them the stitch, so they do it on their own. These were the few things, but most of the machines, as you know, are being manufactured in China. We have to import all the machines from China. We don't have a sewing machine manufacturing industry in India, unfortunately. And we have a brand called Usha. Even that imports, I believe. So all the other machines were what we use in the industrial industries, like Brother or Typical or Joki. All these machineries have to be imported from China. And there are also vendors who import and give us. So in this, there are various types of machineries which we use in alignment. There are single needle, there are high foot machines, there are Bartek machines. That's how it is.
And what were the challenges you had to raise capitals to procure this machinery?
That is the biggest challenge what an entrepreneur is facing in India today. See, there are so many schemes what the central government always tells we are there to support the entrepreneurs. But when you go with a file or a project to any bank, the first thing they ask you is a surety, or what is the surety or a collateral, what you can do. If I am so rich to have a collateral, why would I go to the bank? So this is the first biggest question. So raising capital is always a bigger challenge. So we had to put some money I had to borrow some money from my father, my savings, both put together. I purchased the plot, and then that was given as a collateral to set up the factory and to buy the machines. So the bank has helped me. The syndicate bank then and the Canara Bank now supported me to set up a factory. They have supported me. That's what the bank is.
So your father was also in a similar business, or was it?
I told you he was into consultancy business. So he helped me a bit. He trusted me, and he helped me to buy a plot. And that was used as a collateral to get the loans.
The biggest thing you did was sign a joint venture with Koren, right?
Yes.
And this was in 2018, and you set up one unit solely for them.
Yes.
How did Koren approach you? What was the synergies you both had? What did you both bring to the table? How did they approach you? And how did this whole venture begin?
And basically, when they had their own manufacturing setup factory in India, it was doing well, but I also had to support them a lot for doing it well. And there was a lot of differences between the Chinese management and the laborers. both the cultures do not match easily. The way the Chinese work is completely different from how we Indians work, and the efficiency. I have to tell you, in China, a lady, if she works for 8 hours, it is equivalent to almost 1.5 days of work what we do in India. So that is the efficiency difference. So when they came to India, they had a lot of confusion and what is happening. They thought it's because these people are lazy. And then there were few clashes between the management and the employees. So that's when I was in between and tried to solve these things. So after that, what happened? They also told, why don't you set up a factory and we both do it in a joint venture where you take care of all these things and we also give you some orders. And that's how I started the manufacturing.
Oh, wow. That's a very interesting story. I'm sure you have a lot of stories about how difficult it is to communicate with somebody from a different culture.
Exactly. So that thing what really helped me to, as you told, synergy. The synergy was the trust factor and the transparency what we both had. Usually the problem is both of them don't have trust on each other due to a lot of political and other issues. But it was the trust between both of us, and they had trust in me, and I had trust in them. So that's how things worked out. So that was the biggest step in my whatever, in my journey of setting up an industry, because we are completely culturally we are completely different. So let's keep. So one thing, if you ask me what is the major difference, what I have found as per see what happens in India, you come at 8 o'clock in the morning, you leave at 6 o'clock in the evening. Whether you have done the job or not, you will be paid that day's salary, and that is what the government tells. But what I have seen in China or Chinese factories, you come in the morning, you leave at 12, no problem. The amount of work what you have done, you get paid for that. So the person always tries to do the maximum amount of work in the given time.
Okay.
So as a result, if we have to employ 3 people over here to complete a process, they are employing one person and he's doing it in a better and an efficient way. So even though they are paying him a bit higher, it's very less compared to the 3 people what we are paying for. So that is one major thing I always look at it. So that is the amount of work they do is calculated there. Here, the amount of time we sit in the office is calculated.
For the design of, you do school bags too, right? I mean, now kids use rucksacks and stuff like
we
that.
do.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge now, I mean, though it's not something which we can control, is the burden these poor children. Of course, now with COVID, they're at home, but once school starts and they go back to a normal school, visiting classes, these bags are cumbersome, and these poor kids have to carry tons and tons of books to school, and which, can be quite an orthopedic challenge and an ergonomic challenge for you. While we can't control what the educational system tells them, I mean, many of the things are dictated by them. But what is it in the design that you bring about which can help these children use these bags, which will not be that hurtful to their back, or, basically not be such a burden?
Well, there is a lot of research going on throughout the world for these techniques to reduce the weight on the children. See, the first thing is you can use a shoulder strap or what do you call shoulder clip. I think the high-end bags will have a clip over here on the shoulder. So that will reduce the effect on the back. And most of the bags these days have a lot of foam in the behind, which will also help to have that cushioning effect. And other than that, we have a shoulder strap tactum or something called as elastic over here, which will help you to have that suspension and lock and all the weight when there is a movement or jumping. The weight will not completely fall over here directly. So there is a suspension sort of thing. So we use elastic over here on the shoulder strap, and this clip will always reduce. So if you see the rucksacks or the bigger bags which are carried with a lot of weight, always have a clip over here so that the weight will not fall on the back. So I think there is a lot of research going on, and we use these 2-3 techniques mainly. The first one is this clip, so that the books, I don't think these days the kids will carry a lot of books. I hope the schools are also aware of that. We'll have a clip over here. That is right.
Yeah, that brings me to the big thing of COVID-19, which I think was unprecedented. Nobody, not only in India, but the world over, I don't think anyone expected this. No one could even have any foresight about this. And I think your industry was hit badly because the travel industry gets hit, and with the travel industry, tourism industry gets hit, and which directly hits your industry. So I just wanted to know, how have you been able to stay relevant during these times? It must be quite challenging. What are the things you're doing, and what are the steps you're taking to be relevant during this time?
No, the good thing was we only struggled for 2 months, and then it was an opportunity for us because there were lot many other ways where we sustained. As you know, there was the tourism industry was really hit, so all these backpacks and travel bags were all the orders got cancelled, and even the college students because of the colleges not even those. But because the work from home started, there was a huge sales in laptops. So as a result, we got huge orders from companies like Dell and Lenovo to manufacture laptop bags. So that way we did good things. And secondly, we had a lot of demand for masks, so we were stitching few. So that way, I don't know about other industries, but my industry, we suffered for 2 months, and then somehow the orders got picked up. Any of these sort of orders, but IT bags were doing very well. Even today, we have a huge demand for IT bags. All these North Indian people, I think we had given them quarters. So somehow I arranged food for them for 15 days. After that, once the buses or lorry started, they went away. And then they came back. The good part was I was really happy. Almost 90% of the employees came back. They also brought some more friends and relatives from their hometown, and they are still working now.
Okay.
That was really impressive about them. They like the work. They like my factory, so they are here. They brought their friends and relatives. Almost 90% of the people came back.
So what are going forward? What is the kind of trends do you see? What are the kind of changes do you think are going to happen? And how are you geared up to handle that? I mean, what going, like say, and at the same time, I know I saw your website where you said you want to be 100 crore company by 2025. And I'm sure you don't want to stray from that vision that you have, because
we wanted to reach 100 crore by 23, but now we have extended it to 25.
Yeah, but still, it is quite a challenging step to go forward. So, what are the kind of changes, and what are the kind of what do you say steps that you put in place to ensure, or what are the new products that you're thinking of coming up with so that you can pursue this vision?
My Chinese counterparty always tells me when there is a problem, there are two ways to look at it. One is it's a problem, so you fail and die. The second one is it's an opportunity. You have to look at the problem as an opportunity. So now, as everybody knows, there is a huge population which is waiting to go somewhere out. So they just want to travel. There was a percentage, there was a survey going on, I know that. So there is a huge opportunity for the backpacks and travel bags, even duffel bags, so that people want to travel. And they look at lightweight bags. There is a lot of opportunity for the backpacks. And as I told initially, India, we have a huge market for backpacks, and we don't have many brands. We have very few brands. Even if I ask you to name a brand of backpacks, you can only name 3 or 4. That's Wildcraft, American Tourister, or Samsonite. So, but with a population of so many crores together people, and as I told you, there are so many two-wheelers where every person is having a backpack on his back while driving. So there is an opportunity for the backpack, and we have very few industries. Once we bring in technology, more efficiency, we can try to reach the efficiency and quality of China. The major problem what we are having is the supply chain, where the fabric or other accessories of the bag we are not able to get in India. So most of the accessories we have to depend on China, because that's why the Chinese bags or the bags which you see outside India look so beautiful and so attractive, but we are still having the same black, red bags. That's because of the supply chain problem. So once these things get rectified, we have a huge opportunity. So as I told you, there is a problem. We will overcome the problem, and it's always we should look at it as an opportunity.
So tell me, how does what a typical day, or do you really have a typical day? I mean, how does your day look every day?
Job of an entrepreneur is very uncomfortable, I have to tell you. See, even yesterday I gave you the time and I was so feeling bad that I couldn't take up the call. So these things happen every day and night, and every day we get a new challenge. So by the time I finish it, it's already evening. Again, next morning we'll have a different challenge. And after this pandemic, the major challenge has been cash crunch. And, arranging funds is a bigger problem. I have worked in a company for almost 1.5 years. So being an employee is completely different from being an entrepreneur. See, entrepreneur is a very uncomfortable process. I can say you can never expect any comfort. So, but if you want to do something very thrilling and you should have fun in life. So you have to do something like this, because there is no routine work here. You get up, you get a different challenge every day. So there is no routine day. There's nothing like a routine day.
So what is the, basically you were talking about how you have been interacting with the Chinese companies. What is it that we can take from the Chinese companies, and what is it that we can do to make sure that one day we are going to be much better than them? You know, I mean, everyone would like to hope that, but what is it that we can learn from the work ethic, be it the work ethic, be it the way they operate? What is it that we can learn from the Chinese small industry? I mean,
See,
companies.
It's a very tough question, and it's very hard to tell when we will be like China. I strongly believe we have to have more and more entrepreneurs, more and more factories to come up in this country. We have to go visit the factories, bring the technology, and work over here. But the problem is we have that very orthodox concept of being very secure. We have to get a job and then only we'll get married. So we'll have a secured life, we'll have a kid, we'll buy a house, we'll buy a car, and we'll finish our life like that. So this concept should be broken. The entrepreneur should be given more respect and more opportunities, so that they bring in all these new concepts and factories, so that then the supply chain system will build. So until then, when new people don't get in, the old people who are still doing the same business from their father till here, they are not adapting themselves to the new technology. So what is happening? The same older machines, which are costing very high, the products, there are similar products which we get in India and also in China. But if we import from China, including the import cost, it is much lesser than what we are getting in India. So this is the situation of all the industries. So even though Modi ji has told whatever Atma Nirbhar, it cannot happen until unless we are competing with the cost. The cost is really high in India when we compare to the transportation cost plus the product cost, what we get from China. More support in the form of financial. There are organizations which are giving financial support, but again, as I told you, they request you for a collateral. See, again, if it's not based on the idea which you're funding, it's again based on the collateral which you're funding. So the person with no collateral and idea can never set up a factory in India. So this is the real truth. How much ever good idea how much ever good concept you have, you can never set up an industry until unless you have a collateral. Your father has a site or a house in Bangalore or any other place. So this is one thing where government has to seriously look. If the idea is really viable, please give them the funding. So let them start the company. Second thing is make it, see, the whole process of getting registrations or whatever certifications is really easy. Now things are being easy, but we are not getting it easily. I think everybody can understand that.
Yes.
Those things, let them look. I'm requesting if anybody wants to start up a new business, give them the support is what I request. Most of them, even whoever it is, unless it's a business family, nobody, if the family is a government employee's family or he's working in a bank or any other person, will never support a son or daughter to start a business. So I would request to the whoever it is looking at this, if they have an idea, if they want to really start up something, give them the support, let them fail, nothing to lose. So because we are all educated now, my generation people are all educated. Even if I lose everything, I can go to a job and do something. I can earn my living. There is nothing like I'll be doomed. No, then if given opportunities to see, at least I can give some job or generate some money, generate some tax. So I was remembering this biocon Kiran Mazumdar madam telling. So the first vaccination should be given to all the entrepreneurs of this country because they are the main breadwinners of this country. So I strongly recommend that. And even Zerodha CEO was telling the same thing, like what the film celebrities get respect. At least 10% of the respect, if you give to the entrepreneurs of this country, the country will really progress. So I really feel that the two sentences are true. Like they're more energetic and more creative. Every generation is more creative and energetic than the previous generation. So I believe in that. So everybody will have the fire in them if they can. They have to dare to bring that fire out. That's all. See, I know there are so many people who will always be trying to suppress. Nobody will tell if I go and tell I'm going to do this. Nobody will tell go ahead. They'll always tell no, this will not go. This will never work. So obviously, the first thing will never work. And as per their words, the first step will never work. Yeah, I'm also from a typical Indian family, a middle class family. So obviously, nobody will support me to do anything. So everybody wanted, everybody. The first question of my mother was, "Who will give you a girl?" So that's the bigger problem for her. So that was all there. But my father did not oppose. He silently supported.
Vinay, thank you for taking the time.